the Art Beat of Chattanooga. Jillian Collins here with Nicole Griffin. And this show is all about the arts. It's a lot about Chattanooga, but it's about the world. And it's about how art impacts the world and how we, as artists and viewers, relate in society. So, we're here to just talk some more about that. And Nicole is a returning guest. She's kind of a regular now because we used to kind of dwell together on the strip on River Avenue where Tangerines is located. And I also had a gallery down there with a friend who is now deceased. So through that, I've been visiting shops down there, and I really was excited, first of all, to see the work at Tangerines and then to meet Nicole. I don't think I've met your aunt yet. I'm thinking she's a ghost because I haven't met her.
I swear she's alive. She's around. She hangs out.
Yeah. So, we're here to talk some more about that. And so, Nicole, this is Nicole Griffin, and I'm going to introduce this saying that Nicole is the owner-operator of Tangerines with her Aunt Deb Prater. And these two artists' imaginations come to life through their unique, functional, and fun artwork and furniture created by the use of recycled and reclaimed materials.
Oh, yeah. All kinds of stuff. Hi, I'm Nicole.
So welcome, Nicole. So glad you could make it today and kind of catch us up on what's going on with Tangerinas, what's going on with all the exciting things you're doing with the recycled and found materials.
Oh, yeah.
How things are going on the North Shore.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's been busy. We've been traveling the last 3 weeks and doing different art shows. We've traveled to Atlanta, to Charlotte, and we've just been traveling quite a bit. And now it's fun. We're actually in the shop for the next couple of weeks and doing the Chattanooga market and working on all kinds of custom orders. It's been really fun. I love to see how customers, they come up with different ideas too. They come up with ideas for wedding gifts, for graduation gifts, and we can kind of make their ideas come to life.
Awesome. And this shop is located directly across from Coolidge Park.
We're down in Coolidge Park, right next to the River Street Deli. And it's a great spot too, because that's where our studio actually is. We physically make all the artwork in the studio.
Yeah, so when you go visit Nicole at Tangerines or some of her staff who may be there, because she might be out sorting the objects or creating the work, do you do it all in the studio or sometimes you find yourself at home or something?
Aunt Deb, she has a studio in her basement too, and that's actually where we got started, working just after when I had a full-time job working in the evenings. And I would go over there after work and we would just create things. We started with just making art for my first apartment and friends and Christmas gifts. And then my friends were like, you should try and sell this. And so we started the Chattanooga market, and that was 11 years ago.
11 years. And see, that's so exciting, Nicole, because the inspiration to create was there. And then your friends, your group of people who love you said, you are valuable. What you do is valuable.
And Aunt Deb has always been a support for me too. And she's so creative. When we get together, we make some of the most unique things. And she always jokes, she still has some glittery pine cones or something we made when I could barely walk. I'm going to save these for when we're famous one day.
That's so sweet. So this has been going on since you were a child, this creative connection with your Aunt Deb, who I have not met. So Deb, come on the show sometime. I want to meet you.
Next time.
Yeah, I'd love to meet this other part of the duo here. And, so you've got this wonderful shop, this really unique place with very unique art pieces that are functional for the most part, as well as beautiful. There are jewelry and things that you may want to simply display, which is all about, it's great, art, that's what art's about. But in addition to that, you've created a lot of artwork that is functional within the home. So what are some of the things that you can think of offhand that someone could come to your shop and see like that?
Well, right now, thinking about Father's Day, we do quite a few bottle openers and we have beard oil and things like that. But the other things that you can actually use, we have some wine holders and wine glass holders and coat racks, towel racks, and things like that. And all super colorful and made out of recycled materials also.
Yeah, so there's also furniture, right? That you've repurposed.
I didn't even think about that kind of functional thing. So right now I'm working on a custom order for a gentleman. It's a big dining room table, and he got chairs with it, and he got to choose the fabric, the color of the table, the color of the chairs, and everything. And I'd love to think about how many different lives the furniture itself has had, because it's been in how many different homes, how many different families. I love to think about that part.
So it's kind of like you sense that it almost collects the energy of the homes it's been in. And
definitely
part of the value of some of these items that you've repurposed is they've been previously loved.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, it continues. So here's a piece that Nicole brought in today. And for those of you who are listening and not watching, it's a wooden panel. Where did this come from, Nicole?
This is an old cabinet door out of a kitchen.
Okay.
So think about all the families that have been around this kitchen and cooked and loved and laughed. I mean, kitchen's where everybody gathers. And that's why we use so many kitchen utensils and kitchen pieces in our artwork too.
So this one says
create.
And it's spelled out with, can you share with our viewers and listeners what you use to create the word create?
Okay, so the C is actually part of our electrical work when we were first working on the shop, making it into a habitable actual gallery. And I found a roll of it the other day. And so it was just stuck in the corner. And then the R piece of a door, the door stopper, and then a handle. And then the C is another piece of just a piece of plumbing and then another little handle. The A is this part of a gardening, what you use to put down weed block. So it's
I don't recognize that piece. So
it's a little form.
I can tell what the paintbrush and the spoon are. I'm good with that.
Those have been both loved very much. And then the E is a piece of a jar.
So you're kind of, when you're getting a piece that Nicole and Deb create, you're getting a part of someone else's life too.
And there's always stories with each piece too. And when we travel and go to art shows, we'll collect items, and there's always something that has come from a different city or state or a different place, or even places in Chattanooga, like some of the other pieces that we have. There's stuff from restaurants here, and I love telling people that, because when they find out what restaurants they come from, you can see their eyes light up like, I remember going there, I remember that place. It's so neat.
So it's carrying on the history and the family connections for you as well. Like, these things give you and Deb joy beyond just looking at it, which is a part of art, but the other part is the emotional connection and response it brings.
Get very attached.
I understand. It's like I cannot hang my paintings in my own house forever. And it's not like we are, like, how do you call it, conceited about our work?
No, you just fall in love with each piece. There's some pieces that don't leave the gallery, or they can't. They definitely go home with me.
Yeah, we do get to choose the ones that we want in our life. So it's kind of an awkward thing sometimes as an artist to be so in love with your own work. But if we weren't, we couldn't create it with the passion and joy that we do.
True. And watching customers fall in love with it as much as you do. It gives me goosebumps right now, even talking about it. It's such a feeling you cannot explain that.
Yeah. And these pieces are sturdy. This is going to last a lifetime and beyond. The pieces that Tangerine has creating, these things are going to last a very long time. It's very inspiring to look at this stuff, and realize, wow, look at all they've created out of this. So now these two pieces, Nicole, I've been in your shop quite a few times, and to see everything will take me more visits, because everyone that comes in, you're drawn to certain things, or you notice certain things first. And I wanted to mention, because you mentioned your studio is there, when you go there, you're often going to get to see Nicole and Deb at work creating these things.
In process, a lot of things.
You can see into the studio, you can say hello, and I look in there, I'm a little bit envious, like, look at this amazing studio. Mine's in my second bedroom, but
the only rule is you can't judge how messy it is. It gets very messy back there.
What's that? Where there are no oxen are, where the crib is clean, there's no oxen, something like that. We were talking about that before the show. We have to make a mess to create.
Right.
You have to make a mess and take apart all these little things and sort them out to find the exact right piece that you're looking for.
Sometimes when they're laying there, that's how some of the best ideas come about, because you would never put those two pieces together. That doesn't look like that. And then you see it and it becomes a face. It becomes a person, a robot. Who knows?
Yeah, it's so exciting. It makes me want to play around with this stuff. I'm a very two-dimensional artist at this point, and I'm so far in with my own dreams that I hesitate. But it is inspiring and exciting, and also, you guys are cleaning up the junkyards and cleaning up metals and other things in the world that, instead of laying around or getting thrown away, are being put into beautiful pieces of art.
That's one of the main reasons why we even started, is to keep things out of landfills, to keep it from going into the ocean or being piled up and then just dirt thrown on top of it. it just breaks my heart to think about how many beautiful areas are destroyed by landfills. It just, and to make something else that somebody's going to use out of another person's garbage, there's not a better form of recycling or reclaiming.
Love it. One man's trash is another man's treasure. So these two pieces that you brought in today, kind of, to me, I haven't noticed this sort of work exactly in your shop before. So is this new type of thing?
It is. We've done We've done a lot of flowers and a lot of different plants, but now we're getting more into cactuses and succulents. And the wood that this is actually on is from a barn in Marion County. It's my best friend's husband, his family farm, and he'll let me go raid it every now and then and get some wood. And then the ceiling tin is from a restaurant here. It was called Yesterday's. And now it is
ceiling tin. Is that tin. So the pots are made from tin from a roof or a ceiling?
From a ceiling.
Okay.
And we cut it with tin snips. And now the old restaurant is in it's called the condos, the Tomorrow Building. So it's kind of neat to know that that's what it used to be. And there's some beautiful pictures of Yesterday's, and a lot of people who were born in Chattanooga remember Yesterday's, going to it when they were younger. And
so this piece is lovely. It's got kind of a brick red painting brushed over the wood plank from the barn, and then they've created pots and screwed them into the wood and painted on them. So there's different colors and different types of cactus. One looks like an aloe. I don't know the names of the other types of cactus, but
the only kind I can keep alive.
There you go. No attention, no water. You like those types?
Right.
I hear you. Kudos. So this is a new type, and I am glad that I picked that out because I haven't seen this sort of thing in there before. And then here's another one done on a plank of wood. Is this from the same barn?
It is. It is.
And this one, you left the natural grain of the woodwork for itself. And we have a taller cactus with, I think, a flower.
Yes.
Yeah. And then a shorter cactus, both in pots. Very beautiful and simple, and everything is firmly attached. Like, this stuff is going to last forever. So very cool, Nicole. So you're getting into a little more. You do a lot of painting also.
We do.
So you're not just screwing different electronic parts on, you're painting.
Right. Our shop is really colorful, and I think right now, the springtime is the most inspiring time. You go outside and you can look at your garden and see all these beautiful green plants and then tiny little yellow flowers. And so we take inspiration from that and paint our boards, maybe all green with a little bit of yellow, and it's inspired from tomato plants, or go into other people's flower gardens, not mine. Can't keep them alive, but
that's why we have cactuses so far. Right.
And then pick out the colors from the flowers. And you wouldn't believe the kind of color palettes that nature gives us. It's so inspiring.
That's how I've always felt, Nicole, is like, ever since I was a little child, I would look at the sky and the clouds and the scenery and, be in awe of the beauty. And since I can remember, I always picked it apart as a painting in my head, and so you look at nature and you're seeing the full beauty of it, but your mind is taking from that, and you're constantly putting that information into your creative bucket there in your head, and then it comes out in these beautiful pieces.
And it's funny, sometimes I'll put different colors together. I'm like, I've seen that before. Where have I seen that? And then I'll remember the flower or the house, or, just different things where it actually comes from.
Yeah, that's so cool, because when I was younger, I taught homeschool art to senior high, junior high, and grammar school. And one of my curriculums I called Look and Draw, to help children to learn, how do they draw? We first draw the sun in the corner of the paper, and when a child actually is presented with looking at something, taking it in and filtering it through in a thought process, this principle approach, research, reason, record, and relate. It can apply to art too. How does this work? How do I apply it? How does this work in my life? What does it mean? But once children can break that apart and look at, oh, this isn't what I'm actually seeing, and I'm drawing this.
It's what you think you see,
It's the only way their brain knows how to do it. And I think we pass that idea on because we've been drawing like that for years as children. But once you present to them an actual landscape and they look at it and they draw it, that clicks a whole new part of their brain into gear.
Interesting.
So, I see that in what you're saying, is you're looking at things, and that is creating inspiration and information for you to incorporate into your work.
My friends who have kids, it's so neat to watch them, because they do not have a filter. They do not have, they'll come and show you a picture or something, and like, whoa, why is he upside down? Or, and they have, I think that is one thing that you can learn a lot from children too.
Yeah, they're so amazing. And, my grandson, he's 4. This child is drawing things that I'm looking at going, how does he know to do this type of line and that type of line and this color? His favorite animal is, I think it's a long-nosed blue seal or something like that. He's drawing this thing very representationally at 4 years old.
Wow.
So, and it seems like kids do that naturally, will produce artwork until they're around 10.
Mm-hmm.
And then they begin to have that, I guess, social stigma of themselves, and they start to doubt their own ability. They don't come to you anymore and say, Mom, Dad, whoever, look at this. So that encouragement to get those kids past that is something I like to share. Like, continue providing art supplies. Give them some nuts and bolts and have them go to Tangerinas and get inspired.
What shape can you make out of this? What letter can you make out of this?
Yeah, you know how people say, "Oh, I'm not an artist. I can't draw a straight line." Nicole uses everything but the kitchen sink and probably the kitchen sink.
I have these parts of kitchen sinks.
You don't have to draw on the pool of art creativity. And I think that's what's another inspiring thing about what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
It removes intimidation from people
and I do feel like there are so many different forms of art too. Not just pen, paper, hardware, bolts, but cooking or singing. And I have so much appreciation for people who can do those types of art too.
Dance, comedy. I mean, it just goes on and on, and I've been looking into, the experiential art. You're doing it right now and then it's gone. That's a tough thing for me as a visual artist, and maybe for someone like you too, who we want something with memories and firm, but there is really almost no definition. I don't know if you got to hear last week's show, but we talked about the 10 most offensive pieces of work that were deemed that in the last 2 decades in the world.
Interesting.
And I don't want to be in that list. I don't mind having some controversial work, but boy, I don't want to be in the list of the most offensive work ever.
No.
So, but very interesting, to find out what people will do, call it art. One guy literally chained up a dog to a wall, called it "You Are What You Read." It was a stray dog in Brazil, Nicaragua. Chained him up to a wall, wrote above the dog, "You are what you read" in dog biscuits, and didn't give the dog food or water for times through the display. The gallery claimed they were providing those things and taking the dog off the leash in non-gallery hours. But he got death threats, and I wish the exhibit had been shut down, but I don't believe it was. But
things like that. Cruelty. I don't think art should be cruel in any way. I feel like it should find the thing. I mean, the world's cruel enough. You need to find. That's why art is such a creative outlet to find happiness, even if somebody's going through a tough time already. I feel like art or cooking or singing is a way to express yourself and find the positive that is in you in your life.
I agree and completely, Nicole. And then, to represent cruelty that's happened in the world or pain, I don't have a problem with that. But to create cruelty and call it art, that to me, it's not an artist. I don't want to be associated with that. We, as artists here talking, we want to provide good emotions and connection in this world. So that's just kind of one of the weird things that some people may say, okay, well, she's using things that she found and creating things and calling it art, but you're not painting or drawing. To me, that does not matter. And I don't know if you've ever been challenged about that. I've heard some pretty...
Sometimes. And when we apply to different art shows, they do have different categories, and it's hard to fit inside of, for our art, it's hard to fit inside of one category. We're not painting, we're not wood, we're a little bit of everything. When we do apply, it's mixed media, but sometimes it is more 2D, where it's fabric and paint or different things like that. So, and
you also have a lot of jewelry at your shop too. And now, do you create that, you and Deb?
Some of it I do, and then some of it's a couple of my friends who do it now. Now we have a nice woman that we met in Huntsville. She's so great, and she uses a lot of their natural stones, and she uses old forks and spoons, and her name is Grace Girl Beads is her business name, but it fits in perfectly with our stuff. I love it's like the leather and pearls, where it's the harsh and the soft, and I just love that look.
Yeah, I gotta stop back, and I'm so interested to see what's been changed since I've been in there last. It's been a couple 3 months, and I hate going that long, but it just happened. So what if you got going on anything special coming up with Tangerinas in the next couple months that you want to share? Your website?
Our website is tangerinaschattanooga.com. And we're actually in the shop for the next couple months. We'll do the Chattanooga market, but we don't have any out of town shows. So it's stop in the shop. It's always new things. And we just got a bunch of April K pottery in, and it's Muddy Hands, Happy Hearts. And she does beautiful Chattanooga mugs. We were next to her at the Chattanooga market for years and years. And now she does it on her own time for just for her and for the shop. But I just love her pottery. It's bright, colorful, happy, and she does these like weird mugs with faces, and she just made a whole set, a mom, a dad, and 2 babies. Oh my gosh, they're adorable, and they have buck teeth and weird eyeballs. And
so do you have those at the shop?
We do.
Okay,
we just got a bunch of it in, and so she's been stopping around the shop a lot more too. And it's been neat with everything that's going on with Coolidge Park. On the weekends we're open till 7, and Monday through Thursday we're open till 6, and Sundays we're open 12 to 6.
Yeah, so this is the season. I'm glad you guys aren't having to pack up and drive all over the place right now, because this is the downtown season to go check out Chattanooga and Tangerinas and other local businesses and artists that are down in Chattanooga making their living. Living the dream. Literally for me to I'm sure you have plenty of struggles in life, and as a small business owner, there's challenges and things, but to live that dream, to be able to do what you love every day.
It's so special.
It is called living the dream, I think, when that happens. So, stop down, see Tangerinas. It's very easy to get to. You basically can go right down the stairs, right from Fraser, or you can go down at the street corner, or you can just park down there at Coolidge Park and just head right over to all those places, and Tangerinas right over there. So, supporting local arts and local artists, not just one artist, but you have multiple artists
we do
that you're supporting. And I can't wait to meet Deb. Aunt Deb.
I swear she's out there. Next time I'll bring her along.
I believe it, because you light up when you speak about her, and I know that she's been with you for your whole life, guiding you and encouraging you. So that's what it's all about, sharing art, sharing the love. And the pieces are affordable too. These things are things you can get, and you can hang them in your home or give them as gifts, and just help keep the environment clean, help support local art, and just go enjoy, just browse down there, because it's truly inspiring, and you're going to have to make more than one visit to take it all in.
Walk forwards, walk backwards, turn around in the shop. There's stuff stuck all over.
There is.
Walls
and plus, there are so many beautiful things there. And then also the ability to see artists at work. You don't get to see that often either, their actual workspace and how it's happening. So that's another thing that encourages people to go. Well, Nicole Griffin, thank you so much for joining us today from Tangerinas, downtown Chattanooga on Fraser Avenue. My name is Jillian Collins. This is the Art Beat of Chattanooga, Nooga Radio, 92.7 FM, AM 1240. We'll see you in a few minutes, and we're going to talk to Kofi, and he is a worldwide musician from Ghana.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Need windows? Hey folks, do you need new windows? Good news. Window Depot of Chattanooga has a great special going on right now. 10 high-quality, energy-efficient double-hung vinyl windows installed for only $29.90. That's right, 10 double-hung vinyl windows, only $2,990. And yes, they qualify for the TVA rebates. Call 894-0011. Window Depot of Chattanooga today, located at 5950 Shalford Road. Call 894-0011 today.
He stole out so much cash, such a huge mountain of cash, that he's become a national star. Rick Davis, you know the story. Cash, 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 and more cash. People can't believe it. They want to see it. And now Rick Davis has a new TV show. National TV, USA and Canada. He's got the gold and silver, diamonds and rings. You get dizzy just thinking about it. Rick's selling. Rick's buying. Cash, 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 and more cash. And now a mountain of cash catching the Hollywood spotlight. You know where it is, Brainerd Road, Rick Davis, Golden Diamonds. Cash, 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 and national TV cash. That's really big. Everyone wants to see it. Money flying out the door. Rick Davis is America's jeweler. It's better than Hollywood. It's right here. Cash, 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 and more cash. Rick Davis, Golden Diamonds, Brainerd Road.
You love me. You really love me.
Is your career taking you where you want to go? If not, talk to Covenant Group Insurance, especially if you like helping people. Call and learn how you can work for yourself, but not by yourself. Intense but free training, plus a fantastic lead program, plus office support equals your success, your prosperity. Gross at least $75,000 your first year selling insurance. Call Steve or Jada for a confidential interview. That's 855-8484. Maybe the most important call you'll make all year.
Chattanooga's best kept secret, Boyd Speedway. Come see the fastest dirt late model drivers in the South compete for a purse every Saturday night. Pit gates open at 3, grandstand opens at 5. Racing starts at 7. Bring the whole family for a night of fun as they tear it up on the dirt track. Go to BoydSpeedway.net and check out the Dirt Simulator. BoydSpeedway.dirtsimulator.com. Chattanooga's best kept secret, Boyd Speedway. Fun-filled, outrageous racing. We'll see you Saturday night.
The UCRA Crate Late Model Event. Limited late models, crate late models, sportsman, hobby, and street stocks.
Boyd Speedway.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM's news now.
A Chattanooga man was shot in his home by an as yet unknown assailant who barged in and demanded money. When the victim refused to hand it over, the gunman then opened fire, hitting the victim once. He's been taken to the hospital and is expected to survive. The gunman's still on the loose. Cleanup efforts continue across North Georgia as volunteer cleanup crews are working to clear trees from people's yards and downed power lines on people's roofs. It's expected to continue for at least a few more days. On July the 1st, you will be able to carry firearms onto Georgia University campuses. However, the campuses say they will not be providing gun storage facilities or signs when a new state law permitting concealed handguns takes effect this summer. The law officially takes effect on July the 1st, just before Independence Day. TN not quite ready yet. TN ready scores will not be available until after report card scores come in. Russell Stroud, Nooga Radio News, now.
In-depth traffic, news, and information. Mornings on Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Clouds will slowly decrease out there through your afternoon with some sunshine returning. Breezy, pleasant, highs 73 to 75. Tonight, clear, comfortable lows into the lower 50s. For Friday, more sunshine, a beautiful day. Warmer highs near 85, back into the mid and upper 80s Saturday. Check out JCPenney and get to their Memorial Day sale and celebrate the savings with great deals on select items like pillows for $3.99 and tanks for her just $4.99. That's getting your pennies worth at JCPenney. And I'm Sports 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Core on Nooga Radio AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Welcome back to the Art Beat of Chattanooga, where art lives, and we talk all about arts. We talk to artists, and we just had a wonderful visit with Nicole Griffin from Tangerina's Downtown. They do repurposed art with found objects, beautiful things with a lot of history involved in them. So my name is Jillian Collins. I'm your host, the Art Beat of Chattanooga. I have a website that you can see my artwork at, which is Vanguard Artistry. I also just like to occasionally tell people who I am and what I do. I have a book that I've illustrated by Fred E. Ballou, Poems from a Secret Garden. It has several illustrations and the cover that we corroborated on, and this is available on Amazon. It's a beautiful book, 140 pages or so of poetry written over the last 15 years. So, you know, I just wanted to share kind of the things that I do as, you know, different contemporary art and love arts. Visit Chattanooga, all the different venues downtown. You've got Nightfall, Riverbend coming up, the Hunter Museum, There are the endless lists that we give of things going on down there, Barking Legs, Grand Falloon, et cetera, et cetera. So beautiful day here today. Beautiful day to go downtown this evening and see what's happening in Chattanooga. So I did have a guest coming on, Kofi.
You did, yes.
It seems like there may be an issue with him finding the place.
Well, GPS strikes again. It's not his fault, I'll point out. He's in downtown Chattanooga now because Hickson Pike is annoying that way. And
all right. So I guess we're going to have to reschedule Kofi.
Yeah, he'll be calling you back. I've already set everything up for you.
Awesome.
So you're good to go.
So I apologize that I did say he was going to be here, but
oh well.
Thank you so much. GPS is kind of like on The Office. Turn right and you're in the lake.
Yeah, well, that's what you get when you use Apple Maps.
So this is Russell, and Russell is also a host on Nooga Radio, 92.7 FM, AM 1240. So as long as you're here, and we've talked before about you are a form of an artist, you're going to start the place on fire? What's going on
No,
here?
it was twisted around my pocket.
Okay, all right. Pulling out lighters and things. I'm like, what's going on here?
Now, see, here's a pro tip for you. If you put a lighter in your pocket, there's a high possibility that if you walk around, the act of walking can actually press down the butane trigger, right? So then you have butane leaking all over the place, which it's not a big deal. But I've actually had a pocket catch on fire from having a lighter.
Seriously?
Yeah, it was leaking butane the whole time, and I was standing near a bonfire, and I looked down, and my pocket's on fire.
Oh, no. You should have got that one on film. That's pretty amazing. So
I think somebody did, but I told them to delete it quickly.
I was thinking like if you were getting fuel and you had that going on, and then there was a spark,
Oof.
that'd be real bad.
Yeah, you'd be immolated at that point.
Okay, this isn't art related, but how about that where they always say if you're on your cell phone at the gas pump, you're going to basically blow yourself up?
I don't think that's true. Now, I'm not a scientist, but I'm into science. I play one on TV. So
you play a scientist on TV?
Yeah. So the thing with
Russell is a incognito famous actor.
I'm also a secret agent. But the problem with cell phones and the problem with combustion is that there has to be something either A, hot enough to start a fire, or B, you'd have to have a spark gap which could go off, which could cause combustion. Now, gasoline in and of itself, in its liquid form, will not catch on fire. Gasoline fumes, however, will catch on fire. So that's where your issue lies. You'd have to be standing right where gasoline fumes are. You'd have to have a spark gap. You'd have to have something that combusts. I don't think talking on your cell phone would do that.
Right. So don't squirt the gasoline on the grill in the first place. But if you do not light a cigarette up right away or something, because
no.
Kaboom, that's it. And that is not, performance art. That's bad.
Well, using gasoline in a gas grill.
Well, no, charcoal. Charcoal, Russell, they still have charcoal for grills.
Well, you use charcoal starter for that. You don't use gasoline.
Oh, I know people who've used gasoline to get it rolling quickly.
It's got carcinogens. You'll kill yourself.
Yeah, but I know a lot of people who've used that. And then it's like, they're warning you, don't stand back, And,
but it's got benzene in it. You'll die.
Yeah, well,
That's a
one thing
idea.
doesn't kill. I don't use gasoline on a grill. I mean, why would I use charcoal when there's wonderful gas grills, But
right, yeah. Or just
people still do.
You can use rubbing alcohol, for heaven's sake. At least it's
to start a fire?
Yeah.
Huh, okay.
Yeah. Rubbing alcohol is hugely flammable.
So the last time we talked, Russell, we talked about what are the arts, who can claim they're an artist. And I believe we settled on that you are in the arts.
I would say it's an art. I don't think it's like in the arts. I'm not like Da Vinci, but there's a certain amount of craft that goes into what I do. Sure, but it's industrial. I mean, tons of different arguments about whether or not something is art or is not art. And there's a lot of, I think whatever you think is whatever it is. I don't really think about it too much.
Right, but then there's the part of me that, okay, I'm a visual artist, writer, all that stuff. Not that anybody buys my poetry or that I've published it, because I just kind of write it and bury it, but right. I've always loved writing and the intellectual word and things like that. But as you're producing commercials, you have to use different voice inflections that someone may do if they're voicing a film.
Sure, yeah.
So there are crossovers, even though the industry is different. Some of the practices you're doing are used in filmmaking and other parts of the arts. So it's an interesting argument. And I always like to see who I can get going around here with an argument, because not everyone that we work with here agrees that the arts are a broader spectrum like I believe they are.
If you want to get technical, voice acting is art, acting is art. And what we do a lot of the time is voice acting when we do commercials and we do ads. So in a very narrow sense, yeah, you could say, sure, parts of it are art. Are art. I wouldn't say that I'm making art when I'm making a commercial. I'm making a commercial. There is commercial art. I'm not doing commercial art. I'm doing voice acting to some degree. I'm voicing an ad. Like there's craft in it. I'll say it's craft. Yeah, but I wouldn't say it's art specifically. I wouldn't consider it that.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable consideration. And I have to kind of agree that there's a line somewhere between what we want to call fine art and the arts. And then, like you're saying, an industry like this, like, is filmmaking an art?
I would say
films are art.
Filmmaking in and of itself, the act of filmmaking may be an artistic act, but the film would be the art.
So who would be the artist when you see the credits and there's like 300 people involved, you know?
Any of the creatives involved in it, I'd say.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly not the accountants. You know, sure. Those people. Maybe not the key grip. Not the guy who puts gaffer tape on the floor.
How about the producer?
Producer, he throws money at it. I won't call that art. That's throwing money at it.
I thought producers like were on the set and directing how things went as far as, you know, large and small inflections or ideas of how they want something to appear in the film.
It depends on your setup. If you're in a big studio, not so much. But if it's like you and a group of friends and one of your friends is, you know, throws $100,000 at your movie and says, hey, I want to get involved in this. And the producer does have creative input, and that creative input may be considered art. Sure.
See, I'm going to have to research now filmmaking and see how this all works. And I'm sure it varies.
Some of my friends are filmmakers, so I'm a little
very
bit
interesting. Yeah. They can come and talk to me on here and we'll decide if they're artists or not for them.
Well, filmmaker, I would say more wannabe filmmakers. So I'm familiar with the process, but I'm not, you know, involved in the filmmaking process necessarily. I've shot music videos before. I've been involved in that. Yeah.
So, you know, that's one of the things that I've noticed with people who I encourage to utilize the Art Beat of Chattanooga to come on here and talk about their passions and their arts is something you just said, you know, well, I've done it, but I'm not that. I've done it, but I'm not where I want to be. If we all wait till we're where we want to be to utilize avenues to share our passions and dreams, I would be nowhere.
Well, nobody's where they want to be.
Sure. And we're not going to be, but like, you know, currently I am soon to have a couple pieces hanging downtown through an artist loan program through the Association of Visual Arts. And that's local businesses who support local artists. And they go through a portfolio that Ava puts together. And I was invited to join that portfolio. And I'm excited because I'm currently been too busy to finishing 2 different series to submit other things in shows for quite a while, like over a year. And it's fun because the businessmen get to, you know, have your art there, or women, business people get to have your art as a local artist. They're supporting Chattanooga, and artists get to have exposure and the work's for sale. So if you want to grab those for me real quick, Russell, I wanted to quick talk about these 2 pieces because I brought them in because in case guests cancel or things come up. So this 2 pieces that I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to show the other one first because I started a series a few years back and I called it an energy series. And I just wanted to paint and represent energy. So this was Energy 1, I called it. And this is one of the pieces he selected. And I'm very excited because I think it's a pivotal thing when I entered the program, and the first thing chosen is the first 2 pieces I did in a series of work that has defined the last 4 to 5 years of my artwork. And it varies from here so much. This is called Infinity. And it's got a lot more detail in it than you can see here. But I just think how do you put that? Like the serendipity of it. Like, okay, so the first 2 pieces I ever branched off and did something different. And I said, I just want to paint energy and feel what that's like, are the first 2 pieces I get to hang through this program. So I find that exciting. And I just thank the Chattanooga businesses who support Nightfall, Riverbend, local arts, the Hunter Museum, all of it, the Hart Gallery, all of the arts in Chattanooga. We have a lot of sponsorship going on in this city for the arts.
An artist who appreciates capitalism. That's a new one.
Yeah. I appreciate supporting the arts and, you know, capitalism. Well, without it, we would be a sorry country right now. You know,
blue jeans would be a coveted commodity.
Oh no, that can't happen. So as long as they don't take away, you know, leggings and stuff, we're all right.
Yoga pants. Don't take those away. Girls won't know what to do anymore. So, you know, but that's the thing. So as far as, you know, what's your opinion then? Okay. So you've seen my work, a bit of it. You've actually not seen that much of it. I've seen, I liked what I've seen.
Thank you.
I think your art is very good. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And so in your mind, I guess, if you're going to visit a gallery or you're seeing an art display, be it through the media or whatever, what do you respond to? You know, I don't know if it's individual to your age group, your gender, but, you know, if you're going to the Hunter Museum, what would you like to see? What would you engage with?
I have a pretty broad taste set. I like a lot of things. There are some things that I just think are silly. You know, like this is a line on a white background and it just means a lot. And I'm like, okay, buddy, you drew.
I love how the voice changed there. This is a line, man.
This is a line on a white background.
Yeah.
It represents unity. I was like, come on, dude, you drew a freaking line on white background. That didn't mean anything, you know.
I know it's tempting to just draw some lines and circles and whip it out there, you know. But I can't diss an artist who gets his piece hung. Someone relates to it. Yeah, you guys are better at that than me.
I'd be like, that's stupid, dude. What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely came against a couple things of the 10 most offensive pieces in the last 2 decades.
Yeah, like the Russian guy who nailed bits of himself to the ground in Red Square. Did you see that?
No, I missed
actually happened.
that one.
I don't think that was more offensive as it was just disgusting because worse things have happened. But what I respond to, I like abstract.
See, that makes me sick to my stomach. I don't know. I don't. Ugh.
I've seen worse. I like cubism. I think cubism is cool. I would react to that. I think that's a really neat way of looking at things. I like, and this is gonna offend some people, but I actually do enjoy brutalism. I think it's nice to look at. I think it's very com block, but I like the aesthetic of it. I don't like the ideal behind it, but I like the aesthetic of it.
What is com block?
Communist block.
Okay, all right, communist block. So yeah, I mean, and see, that's a very valid point, Russell, because art can be beautiful in that way, or it can represent the pain or depth or depravity of humanity without creating cruelty and pain
right.
to oneself or others. I would hope that there wouldn't be much support to people who are purposely nailing their flesh, you know, bits of their flesh to Red Square. I mean, anyone can do that. I'm sorry. It's
yeah, that's just something that some guy decided.
Self-brutalism, and it's, as far as society, it's going to potentially encourage children to do things that may be harmful to them.
Right.
So
I think, though, I will say this is something that raises an interesting argument, because I think a lot of what we validate as a movement, and this is not necessarily an art argument, but what we validate as something that's legitimate is almost always based upon how prominent or historically significant it was. I'm going to get really graphic. Think about the 1960s.
Don't blow up my show, Russell.
No, I won't. Think about the 1960s. There was the Buddhist monk who set himself on fire in protest of Buddhist treatment in Vietnam. Horrible stuff, right? Actually, Indochina at the time. Horrible stuff. That's significant. It's not art, but it is significant. That is an act of self-sacrifice. What makes that different from a dude nailing himself to Red Square? It's the intent behind it. The guy in Red Square is just like, I'm going to make a movement. The guy in Vietnam is protesting something. What can you protest by nailing yourself to the floor? It's silly.
Hi, thanks for calling the Art Beat of Chattanooga.
So now I'm going to have to disagree with Russell. I think that is art.
Okay.
And yourself to a wall. I suggest that all liberals and Democrats say,
you just can't give up the platform,
can you? We are the world. Everybody held hands. I suggest all liberals and Democrats pick a day for art purposes, and they pick a bridge and collectively jump off the bridge.
Shouldn't it be May Day?
A "We Love Barack Obama" shirt.
I think we should all just stand on the bridge joining hands and sing Kumbaya.
No. You have to be a liberal Democrat, liberal Republican, or liberal Democrat, or socialist, or especially a progressive. Wear a red shirt with a hammer and sickle with Barack Obama singing "We Love the World."
We are the world.
Well, at least we know, caller, that none of these...
Down Narrows Bridge, the Brooklyn Bridge, Walt Whitman. Pick a day and just do it. That would be beautiful.
All right.
Obviously,
thanks for calling with that idea.
Labor Day would be the best day for
I would say that, I have to say, in response to some of the men I work with here at the station, that obviously none of those liberals or Democrats, well, at least the Democrats, can't possibly be artists according to the common thinking that we're running into in some people, because you have to be apparently a hippie to be an artist. So, I really don't like to be called a hippie. I don't see myself as a hippie.
You have called yourself a gypsy before.
I'm a gypsy princess, that's for sure. Yep.
So you're from you're actually of the Urdu background, not Urdu. What is it? Romani?
It's the Betazoid gypsies.
Okay.
I'm half Betazoid, and that's the part of me that's a gypsy.
So you're an empath, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay,
I'm telepathic and empath. Yes, and
I've seen Star Trek. I know what you're doing.
So I can actually paint what I see in your mind. So we'll do that maybe one time on a Facebook live feed. Like I'll read your mind, like the Vulcan mind meld, and then I'll paint it at the same time.
I don't think you want to paint what you see in my mind.
I think it would be a pretty crazy painting. Like it would probably take a long time to get all the things going on in that head.
It'd just be like a bunch of AK-47s and stuff.
Yeah. So as a millennial, Russell,
yes, very much so.
How much you are a millennial, and you know how much I support the millennial generation that I've met within the arts.
Sure. Yeah. Young people are important.
So do you meet a lot of your own age group? I know you're here at the station working a lot. You obviously went to school. You have a sister who is also a millennial.
Yeah, barely. No, she's Gen Z. They're Generation Z. It's
she's
different.
still a baby. So
it's two different generations.
What do you think about where this generation is going to go with utilizing like the arts and moving forward with, not politically, because that's not what this show's about.
Sure. No, I understand.
But like with the intent of you guys' mind, you're in the information age.
Yes.
You can view art instantly. Do you feel like the art that I create, which is I'm a staunch, I gotta paint. I don't disagree with any other electronic forms of art, but painting is my thing. I love it. And do you feel like that's going to become outdated or overridden by the electronic world?
I don't think it'll become outdated, but I think it will become more niche and more phased out. Electronic is definitely the way people are going. You've seen digital paintings. You see how nice they can look and how they look very close to oil paintings if you get your settings right, Yeah,
I always see a certain difference in them, though, even in one paint medium to another, even between watercolor, acrylic, and oil, there's a difference.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. But here's the thing, though. Here's something I've actually wanted to talk about for a while. I'm glad you brought it up. There's a big difference. I don't know if there's a big difference, but there's something new that's happening. That's been happening since the late late 70s, which is remix instead of making. Right? It's remaking instead of making. So in my culture, especially, there's a lot of this culture behind, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. There's a lot of emphasis on this is a remix of this or that, taking something old and putting a new spin on it. I mean, look at the popularity of Daft Punk and the hip hop acts too, and I think they're great. I don't think that's a bad thing at all. So you're going to see a lot more of that's popular with people my age than I've picked up something and made something new. It's a lot of the times in the 1960s, you had people who were not necessarily remaking, but being strongly influenced by blues music and rock and roll from the 1930s onward. You're seeing that now, but it's more 80s and 90s. So that whole and the gap is the same. You have that gap where in the 80s they're inspired by the 50s and 60s. Now we're inspired by the 80s and 90s. So it's the same sort of thing we're seeing now, where we're being inspired by a digital culture. So you have a digital culture being inspired by a digital culture. We're making remixes, and I think it's very interesting, and I like a lot of what I've seen.
Yeah, the connections and possibilities are very strong, and I can only imagine that there's no way that the actual physical created artwork will go away. But I do see how easy it is to create things with the digital age.
Oh, I agree completely. I think creation is not going to go away at all.
Right.
Although I would say every creation is an imitation anyway. Because that's just how it is. You can't, I don't think, and I'm firm on this, I don't think you can make something that's completely new, because it has to be inspired by something, because that's how people are. You can't say this is something no one's ever seen before, because there's still elements of it that someone has seen before at some point. It's inspired by something. Nothing's completely new.
Right. From the time we're born, our brain starts to form and gather ideas, colors, interests. And like I shared with Nicole on the previous half of the show, since I was a little child, I've seen the world like in a painting form almost. I'm constantly breaking it down into how would I paint that? And I know digital age, art is they're looking at things that are digitally created, and then their mind is going through a whole different electronic process of how can I create this art from this, so it's a totally different type of inspiration.
When I look at things, I'll share some insight. When I look at things, and I'm not an artist, but when I look at things, I'm thinking more technicalities, processes. What makes this do that? What are the parts that become the sum which makes the whole?
Yeah, and that's mostly how I paint too. I've been working on a piece that's finishing up a series that's very important to me. And I literally am using a book like it's a Bible to get exactly the colors, transparencies, opaqueness, and values that I want. It's like, a class. I'm going through this book because I want to utilize all the things in my toolbox to get exactly what I want. So my toolbox is paintbrushes And then the electronic toolbox is all of this electronic support that you can draw from.
It's all of everything that's been put or categorized or uploaded at some point. You have this entire category, basically the whole known history of humanity.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And of course, art can represent all of that, and no one person can draw that all in at once to one thing, even with the electronic abilities that are there. But there's still that base emotion that every artist is trying to capture.
Yes. And we're getting better at it because there is a distinct, and this has gotten a lot more profound as time has gone by, there's a feeling of loneliness that we're trying to capture and express. Because everyone feels it now in the digital age. Like, I don't like people. I don't like talking to people. But there is still that isolation. We're all sort of that way.
But you do like talking. I've noticed. You're great. You have a show with Keon. You like talking to Keon on the air.
I like talking to Keon.
Because your show is on Thursday evenings at 8, correct?
Not this Thursday, though, because my mom's birthday is today. So, yeah.
Happy birthday, Russell's mom.
Yeah. So. She hates it when I talk about her on the air, by the way. She hates it.
Well.
I won't say how old she is, but it's pretty young.
No, we don't do that.
It's pretty young.
Yeah. At least around my youngness. We don't talk about that. That's scary,
I don't care how old people are. I think it's more about, what they do than what numbers are attached to it. Half the time people don't believe me when I tell them how old I am. So
why? They think you're older, younger?
Older, much older.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know why.
Yeah, people usually think I'm younger. Thank goodness. But, I agree. It doesn't matter our age. It doesn't matter if we use electronic or the physical material mediums for art. It doesn't matter if you're like Nicole and you do found art and create beautiful things. It's about who we are in our heart, how we relate to the world and to other people.
Yeah.
And you can say you're not talking to people, but I believe you like people because I know you. So
I don't like most people.
There you go.
I think most people are really, really boring. But if you look in personality types, you can see why I think that way.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot going on in that head. You may not be an artist, but there's, you are in the creative industry, and appreciate you stepping in because our guest got scrambled up by GPS.
Dang old GPS. Technology wins the day
good old
again.
GPS. Well, thanks for joining us on the Art Beat of Chattanooga, 92.7 FM, AM 1240. I'm Jillian Collins, your host, and we'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Have a great weekend.